In the past, I would have treated the Sabbath like the bubonic plague, okay? Is that how you pronounce it? Whatever. I would have stayed as far away from it as possible. In fact, I genuinely thought the Sabbath, the day of rest, was only for people back in the day. I did not even it didn't even cross my mind that people still rested. Wasn't that only for the people in Israel like 2000 years ago or more? It just it did not compute. But as I've been growing closer to God, and the closer you get to God, the more convictions come up, the more you're being shaped like Jesus, the more you need to literally change your life. You need to stop doing basically everything you used to do and do everything new again, like you're being born again. You are a new creation. Okay? Yeah, I can go into that. It's a whole different topic. He has showed me, Isabella, you need to rest, my dear. I rested after creating the entire galaxies, okay? So why should you not rest? Why do you think you're better than me, huh? Why do you think that you just need to work, 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 7 days a week, 365, 24/7? No, I command you to rest. I think that is the most fascinating thing that I find about God is literally just that he commands us to rest, okay? Like that what an amazing father that he literally tells us like please rest. He knows we're out here trying to do everything. He knows we're out here creating a world, a society. So I wanted to read you from the 10 commandments exactly what it says, because if you really grasp every single word, I mean, it's just crazy. Exodus 28-11 says, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. So what does this mean? I don't personally, at least in my own convictions, I don't think that we need to follow the Sabbath as directed to the people of Israel. Back then, Shabbat was the Sabbath, that's what they called it, and it would start at 4:30 p.m. on Friday and end 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Now, that's great if we can follow that now, but I know, we live in a time with work schedules and different life events. It can be very hard for everybody to follow that. In Israel, actually, still, people treat Shabbat very literally. All the stores close. People are rushing to do things at like 2 p.m. because in 2.5 hours, they literally have to go home and rest and, be with their family and praise the Lord day and night. And then when 4:30 happens on the next day, they celebrate and they have street parties and food and everything, and it's great. They really, as a culture, celebrate that. And we kind of do in a way, well, not really. Sundays, we go to church. But I really believe that the Lord is calling us, each and every single one of us, to a whole day of rest. He knows we live in a different time now. Our days, it can't always be like everybody can rest on Sunday. There's people with jobs and responsibilities and stuff. And obviously, what I'm about to say is going to depend on your current life situation. I can't speak, for everybody. I know some of y'all are moms and dads and stuff, and I just, that's completely different because that's 24/7 work. But I'm going to speak a little bit about my life and how he's really shown me how to take hold of the Sabbath. And for me, I will say the non-negotiable, because I treat my Sabbaths on Sundays. I do not turn on my phone. No social media, no communication, no phone. That is one thing that I will do. Not only will I do that, but I will not work. I will not clean the house. I will not cook unless I have to, but I try to meal prep. I try to do everything that I need to do for the week, Fridays and Saturdays. So I clean, I cook, I get everything done so that Sundays I can really rest in Him. Now, it does say to not do any ordinary work. And, I'm sure there's a lot of different things about what people think you should and should not do. For me personally, I try to dedicate the entire day to God. So, I go to church, I go to my fiance's grandma's house, and then typically I'll do something like journal and read scripture or read devotionals. And then what I really like to do is paint. Actually, I'll show you guys what I painted yesterday on Sunday. So I painted this of Jesus hugging me because he is the great comforter, and things like that. Like, I was truly worshiping while I was painting. I had the worship music on, I was painting, and seriously, it felt like I could access this part of God that I can't when I'm not creating art. So I did that. I watched an episode of The Chosen. Like, I seriously dedicated my whole day to surrounding my mind around God. There's some controversy about, doing, certain things, like just resting and doing your own thing. But what I feel as though I've been convicted of, or just led to do, is seriously dedicate the whole day to God. And I asked him at the beginning of the Sabbath, like, what do you want me to do today? And for instance, like the other day or yesterday, I think I was stretching in the morning, and I prayed and asked, how do you want me to treat this Sabbath? And I heard him say paint. So it's like he will tell you what to do. But above all, he wants us to rest. He wants us to just chill out. I mean, seriously. And another passage that I really want to read that I find really beautiful is Isaiah 58:13-14. It says, if you keep your feet from breaking the Sabbath and from doing as you please on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight and the Lord's day, the Lord's holy day honorable, and if your honor is by not going your own way and not doing as you please or speaking idle words, then you will find your joy in the Lord, and I will cause you to ride in triumph on the heights of the land, and to feast on the inheritance of your father Jacob, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. So, he is literally saying, if you treat this day as holy, if you spend this day with me, I will bless you in a way. And how I think about this is kind of like tithing our money. We are called to give 10% to the Lord in whatever way that you do that, whether it be through the church, whether it be just praying and asking where he leads you that day, or that week or that month, where to give your money, being generous with it. You guys, I fully know that tithing your money and giving it away will literally increase your financial assets. And don't do it because of that, obviously not, but God will always provide, especially when you give that first 10% to God and say, God, you have been blessing me with this money. You have blessed me with this career. You have blessed me with these sales, whatever it is. What do you want to do with this money? I think it's the same thing. I actually heard this. I forgot from who, but they described it with time as well, with the Sabbath. You are literally tithing your time to God. We live in a hyper productive world. We constantly want to be doing our own things. We constantly want to be chasing. But what if we just sit in the passenger seat for a day and not have to do anything? Like, he is literally calling us to rest. He's calling us to trust in him. I know lots of us have endeavors. Lots of us have big dreams and goals that we need to attend to and work on, and people that we need to call and text and email and all these different things. But he knew this was gonna come, you guys. God literally set all of these commandments and rules into place, knowing that there'd be generations of change, and he still said, dedicate just one of the 7 days to me and watch what I will do with your life. And I have, like I said, this is very recent for me, so I haven't really seen much fruit from it, but I'm so hopeful. I know that I'm going to find so much rest in him just from taking a step back from my life. There's so many things that I try to control in my life, my business, my social media, all these things. But I just know that by doing this, he is going to move things along in his plan for my life more than I can do on my own with my own two hands. He is going to, because I am giving him this time, he will bless my life and ordain it in the way that he wants it to. I've seen it with my finances. I've seen it with the money, so I know that he's going to do the same with the time, but we have to trust. It is really hard. It felt yesterday particularly Why is it so hard for me to say that word? Particularly. It was hard. I was very anxious being away from my phone. I was very anxious that people needed me. I was very anxious that my clients were calling and I was getting emails and da 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 da. But that's just like, that's literally, no, that's not God. That's not God. Mm-mm. Also, you'll find out the next day. Like, it's just one day. I think that's what I was telling myself too, is like, it's just one day and enjoy it. Enjoy literally being forced to rest. Again, if you're like me, where you are very hyperproductive and you really just don't know how to relax, like, he is commanding you to just soak it all in. Don't plan anything. Don't do any chores. Get that all done before so you can really just have a day to look and be like, what do I do with this day? I mean, seriously, it's such a blessing when you look at it like that. When you look at it like you have just a free day and you have God to decide what to do with it. I just know it's going to bless me in so many ways. And I really wanted to talk about this because I really encourage you who's watching to implement this coming Sunday. I mean, it's going to feel weird, like, oh my gosh, turning off my phone. I don't know if I can do it. You can do it. You can do it. God has given us a spirit of self-control. You can do it. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to test you, you know? But what I realized was I had so much free time. I had so much free time. And this is what he commands us to do. I can't say anything else. There's no amount of me convincing, and I just know at the right time he's going to convict your heart of that, and he's going to tell you, hey, we need to start taking the Sabbath more seriously, just like he did with me in his time. And that's just the amazing thing with God, is he deals with us in parts. He doesn't just completely twist you around and you're a new person. Like, he will start with the biggest things, remove them, start with the other things, go deeper like an onion. He peels you back. Like, the fact that I'm getting convicted of not having a Sabbath really just shows me how much he's worked on me, because even just a year ago, I was trying to stop smoking weed, and it's like that was like the biggest thing for me. And it just, like, to see myself go from something so addicting and that took over my life for so many years to being convicted of, you know, these more minute things. It just shows how fast he works in our life and just how great he is. I was doing a Bible study the other day and I was really recognizing the power that he's changing in my heart and just the posture I have towards certain things. And I just had to take a moment and look and be like, God, you are literally so amazing. Like, you are changing my heart. This is not me. This is not me. I'm thinking about things different than the way that I used to think about them. That is not me. What are the odds that when I'm reading this Bible and you're convicting me of all these things and you're changing me, that this just happens to, like, no, he's literally changing my heart. Like, it is so just cool. I don't even know what words to use. There are no English language words I can use. There just aren't. But I do encourage you again to please see my sincerity in this video of, like, how beneficial it is. You need to start treating the Sabbath like the holy commandment that it is, because it is. It's a command. Rest. Rest. God worked for 6 days and rested. Why should we be any different? Why? Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. My sister and I will be back soon for another episode together. Life's just been a little crazy and a little busy. I definitely jinxed myself. I don't believe in jinx, but a few episodes ago I was like, we can do it, so you can do it too. If you are long distance with somebody, you can create a podcast. Yeah, I spoke way too soon. But we will be back after Thanksgiving and we'll try to get back on our regularly scheduled programming. But thank you for hanging tight and listening to our voices one-on-one. Hopefully you can learn more about us as individuals, and that is really the goal here. So thank you guys. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.